So it's no secret that Manchester United are in for a midfielder this summer, and potentially more than one. And with the departures of Scott McTominay and Fred, I believe we'll need two replacements to fill those gaps, maybe even three, because I'm also not sure that Eric Ten Hag will play Christian Eriksen the same way next season, and probably not as much either. You could tell that he was getting very tired last season. But now, all the talks lately have been about Mason Mount and Moises Caicedo. But honestly, I don't see us getting both of those. It's a bit too expensive. Now, I thought we could look at a midfielder I did mention on another video about a week ago, but I think we'll go a little bit more in depth on this midfielder. And this one will play a backup role. He is not a first team signing, okay? So without further ado, let's just get right into it. One of our biggest issues last year was having suitable coverage for Casemiro. Last season, he missed 10 games. That's more than a quarter of the Premier League season. Now, by this is no this is by no means a replacement for Casemiro. This is just a cheap option to cover his role because you never know, he might pick up an injury and get that inevitable red card as he did a couple times last season. And the guy that we're talking about today is Elias Sakiri. He's from the Bundesliga, plays for FC Cologne, a central defensive midfielder with only 1 year left on his contract. His market value is listed at 13 million euros, but as I said, he has 1 year left on his contract. We could probably try to get him for around 8 to 10 million euros, maybe even cheaper than that. Now, he's not totally different than Casemiro, other than he's not world class. Casemiro is world class. He makes 2.3 tackles per 90 minutes, putting him in the 85th percentile of all players in the Bundesliga, while also making 1.72 interceptions per 90, putting him in the 92nd percentile in all of the Bundesliga for those players. Now, he does play in a team that isn't the best and gets scored on quite a bit in FC Cologne. They're kind of a lower, not even mid table team, really. And I'm just going to go put that out there that a lot of his bad defensive stats are down to the overall team play and quality. But here's a stat I did find amazing. In the entire season, he only amassed 5 yellow cards and 0 red cards. And for a central defensive midfielder, to me, that's pretty incredible. 5 yellow cards. Maybe he can teach Casemiro a lesson or two about getting yellow cards and red cards. Who knows? He's really good at blocking potential shots. And as I stated before, without the no red card thing, he rarely gives away any penalties. I mean, I don't think he's given a single penalty away in last season or the season before. But it's not just his defensive abilities that make him a suitable backup. His offense abilities are really good as well. This is crazy. He was FC Cologne's top scorer from a central defensive midfielding role. He's not much of an assist maker. I think he only got one last year, so with 8 goal involvements, not terrible. Kind of similar to Casemiro numbers when it comes to goals, but what really makes him stand out is that his passing stats make me assume that he's the guy making the assist before the assist. He has an 88% pass completion, putting him in the 95th percentile of all players in the Bundesliga. He has a very successful dribble rate, and also he makes over 55 passes, completed passes per 90. A pretty decent stat for a defensive midfielder, but he is a midfielder that has various attributes to his game. So he can put in a shift when it comes to tackling and getting the ball back, and also seems pretty good at once winning that ball back, getting it up the field to someone who can make that assist for our striker, for our wingers, whoever. I don't know who's going to be there next year for us, but whoever's there scoring those goals for us. And as I mentioned here, this guy, he is just a backup option, someone to give us some solid depth. Sorry, I cannot speak. Again, very long day. He's 28 years old and he could probably do a job for about 2 to 3 years. And not to mention, again, he's on his last year of his contract, which means he could be very cheap. Because I'm telling you, have you heard of him? I highly doubt it. That's how cheap he could be. Anyway, what do you think? Should we get someone like Elias Sakarian or spend our cheap money somewhere else? Because I do believe we'll need to make some cheap signings, kind of like what we did with Terrell Malasia last year, to fill some holes and get some depth for us. Anyway, tell me your thoughts below. Peace.